This is another big road ticked off the bucket list. Oh, I've overcooked that corner. That's a showstopper. Ah! Oh, I am in heaven, absolute heaven. My gear linkage is broken actually. So, brought the broken gear linkage to a KTM garage, which is about 10 miles away. Now they at the moment are trying to do a body job, and it's all they can do really after that part. Alright, well that was a little bit of an adventure. So we fixed it. I can change gear. I could do it adjusting it a bit because the gear lever's up very high now, but I don't think that's anything really to worry about. At least I can change gear. I need to keep an eye on it just to make sure that boat isn't under too much stress and obviously doesn't come loose again. But thankfully it's happened now, and we've only got, in fact we were just saying earlier, we've got, tomorrow is our penultimate day, and then the day after are two sort of quite short days. But those guys at that KTM garage, they were brilliant, they were so good. I'll have to go onto Google or something and give them a review or something, because yeah, they were so good. And they didn't charge me. And I was so happy about them not charging me. I said, oh that's brilliant, that's so, thank you very much. And I was so happy about just getting it fixed. I'm thinking I should have just given them 20 quid or something just to go and get a couple of beers or something, shouldn't I? Well, I was just more concerned, just thinking, oh okay, I'm on my way again, I just didn't think of it until just now, where I really should have done that. Right, so we're trying to find our accommodation for tonight. It's around here somewhere, but we don't think it's that farm. So we think it's up this dirt track. I think Ben just looked it up and found a photo, and now he's just looking for a house that looks like the photo. Does that look like the photo? We're going to stop here anyway. Yeah, cover Chom the Oat. Chom the Op. This is quite nice, isn't it? Should probably park around here somewhere. Well, if we park here, I guess. This is where the other cars are parked. It's hard to get a good grip as well there. Just there, Ben. But leave room for me. This is the lovely bed and breakfast we stayed in last night. It's a nice find on booking.com. I think it was about 70 euros for the two of us. That's for bed and breakfast. We had a room each, which was very smart. Well, we weren't meant to have a room each, but she gave us a room first with a double bed in it. And we both looked at each other, looked at her and said, I don't think so. So there was an adjoining room, so she made that up as well. So we had one each. Then last night we went out to look for something to eat. We went for a walk up, or we went for a drive or a ride all around the village. Didn't really find anywhere. And then we eventually found somewhere, which is just that place there, which is a lovely steak restaurant. And we had a really nice meal there. We could have actually walked there, but yeah, we didn't know. So tonight we're going to a friend of Ben's, John and Alison, and they're having a barbecue as well, which would be very nice. and hopefully he'll have a couple of tools as well, and I'll be able to have a look at the gear selector problem on my bike as well. So from a bike that was looking to be so reliable and so good, I'm really pleased with it. Yesterday I had those dramas with the gear selector breaking. Went out this morning and the battery is completely flat. So we don't know what caused the battery to go completely flat. There's been nothing on. Well, the only thing that could possibly drain it, I suppose, would be the heated grips, but I don't think they're wired up directly to the battery. But they were off anyway, and I definitely didn't have them on yesterday. So I can only presume the battery is knackered. I don't know. We tried jump starting it a couple of times this morning, but it was rough gravel and it was just nearly impossible. But we did manage to do it with jump leads and managed to get some jump leads onto the terminals of both my bike and Ben's bike. The guy who works or who owns the bed and breakfast we stayed in, he was really helpful. He was really nice and helped us as much as he could without laughing at us. But we could forgive him for that because it is laughable, really. So I had my tools out. I've got a little, if you can see just down there, there's a little spot there that, you know, I keep all my tools in, but the cover of it is locked with the same key. The ignition key is on. So we started the bike, then went to put my tools away, and of course the bike was started. The saddle was bolted back down again, and then we realised, oh shit, I haven't got the key to put the cover back on that little cubby hole. So the lid for my little cubby hole there is in the back of Ben's bike. And then the next thing we noticed, right, so my range is 141 miles. And where we're going to today is 170 miles. So I'm going to have to stop for fuel. And I'm going to have to turn off the engine because I need the key to open the filler cap. And you can't fill up an engine running anyway. Well, you can, but it's frowned upon. Well, the range isn't really going up much. Well, maybe when we get moving a bit more now the range might go up a bit, but I still don't want to be running on fumes when we got to John's place tonight. But I don't know if the battery's completely dead or if it'll charge up now on a good run, but we rode a couple of 100 miles yesterday. You would have thought it'd be fully charged. And today is Sunday, so no one is open for me to go and get a new battery. So we've been riding now for an hour and a half or so. Fuel economy, I've still got 151 miles. So I'm not doing too bad with fuel. We've been taking it easy. Because you don't really want to have to stop for fuel if I don't have to. Now I don't know if the battery's completely dead or if it'll have some juice in it now that I've ridden it for a while. But I think we'll just have to push on all the way to John's house later on, which I think now is about 120 miles or thereabouts away. So that's the plan. What we're going to do is stop in, there's an Intermarché up here. Yeah, so the battery is completely knackered. So we started them up again now, those jump leads I just bought. And we'll head on to John's house. And just enjoy the afternoon and the evening, forget about it, and then tomorrow I'm sure I can go and find a motorbike shop and just get a new battery and get that put in, which is an easy thing to do. But like I said, today is Sunday, so everywhere's going to be closed, and I will just adjust the chain, or the chain, Adjust the gear linkage to make that a bit more comfortable, but I might do that this evening. So that's where we are now. So we get cracking on now and head on, and hopefully we've got enough fuel now to get to John's. Here we are. Come on, you in off the road. Hello. Right, am I squeezing through there? Yeah, just.
There's a car in there, go to the left.
Okay. Oh yeah. Hey. Oh, you be careful you don't burn yourself, hey? Be careful you don't burn yourself in a hot exhaust, hey? So we're on our final day already. We're getting the ferry tonight. We stayed in this lovely little motorhome last night with our friends John and Alison. Yeah, I mean, when we got here yesterday afternoon, we just sat down, we just sort of drinking and eating all day and all evening, which is lovely. So now the plan this morning now is I need to get my, we're going to go back into the village. We're in Montoir-sur-la-Loire, in the Loire Valley. The plan this morning is to go back into the village. There's a bike shop in there, hopefully get a battery for my Triumph, and yeah, and get us on the way. We'll probably hang around here for a little while. Our ferry isn't until near midnight tonight. We might do a few World War II sort of places. Pegasus Bridge, for example. We might try and go there and a few other things when we're going up in that direction. So for the moment, I need to I want to adjust the gear lever on my bike, and then we're going to go into the village, try and get a battery, and we'll probably think of heading off then. Right, so I'll catch you later. So that's the new battery on. Yep, so hopefully that should be okay now. Fires up all right. I'm not sure if it's the alternator, possibly is. But the other battery was completely shot. When I brought it down to the shop, they tested it and it was completely dead. So hopefully that should see me right now to get home. Okay. Bye. Left. All right, let's try and squeeze through here. Which way am I going? Left, 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 left. Thanks, John. Bye-bye. Bye, Ali. So on the final day now, on the final leg, and we got some lovely roads that we're going along, but it's the last day, end of the holidays. There's a lot of radio silence. But we still got a few things to do first. We're going to stop off at Pegasus Bridge soon, and then obviously onto the ferry then, and then that's back to normal tomorrow. over the last week or so I was really starting to bond with this bike. I was really enjoying it, really liking it. And then, well, then the gear lever broke the other day, which was, as I've already said, that's because the gear selection was getting stiffer and stiffer, and I might have been maybe a bit too rough with it, but well, regardless, anyway, the gear linkage broke. Fixed that. I thought, yeah, all hunky-dory, let's crack on the next day. Then, like I said, the battery was flat, and then when I was faffing around with the battery this morning, I realised there was only one bolt holding the centre stand in, so got another bolt to put the centre stand in. So I've sort of lost a little bit of confidence, and I don't know if you've ever been in that situation before, but it takes a little bit of time then to get that confidence back. So, and it's just little things then, like I've adjusted the gear lever. It was too high after I put the new gear linkage in, and I've adjusted it, and it's still just that little bit too high. So every now and again I go to change up gear and I'll miss the gear, I won't stick it up into gear properly, and just little things that bug you, and they're in the back of your mind, and it's hard to enjoy it so much then, because I'm sort of thinking, oh, is something else going to break? And but hopefully they say these things comes in 3, so that's 3 things. So hopefully that's it all out of the way now, and it'll all behave itself now until I get home. But those little problems aside, I have the first 6 days of this bike. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. After a couple of hours my knees start to hurt a little bit, but only a little bit, not really bad. One day my wrists were starting to hurt a little bit, but again just a little bit, not really bad. And another day I had a bit of a pain in the back of my neck because of the seat, because of the riding position, but again it's nothing bad and nothing that's really uncomfortable. So all in all, yeah, it's been really comfortable, and it's been really comfortable, and I've enjoyed it. It's been good. Ben's just told me he's had a pain in his neck all week from me. They're having more of a pain in his neck from me now today, because I've gone into miserable fucker mode. But I think once I fix those few little things on the bike, it'll all be fine. And if there's anything we could do differently, I think if we were going to do this trip differently again, apart from obviously not going on a bike that I've just bought and only travelled 50 miles on before I did a big trip like this, we should have just got our act together a little bit earlier and booked the ferry to Santander. It would have been an awful lot cheaper, but we left it so late. It was just, I think it was like about 600 quid each, if not more. And when we did all the sums and worked it out, it was so much cheaper just riding down through France. Whereas normally it'd be cheaper getting the ferry than riding through France, when you take into account your accommodation and your fuel and so on. So that's a lesson, and it's a lesson learned just to get. Yeah. So Ben's put everything, when we've been stopping in places, Ben's been saying he's been putting things on his credit card, and then I'll pay him back afterwards. So he said his credit card is close to £1,200, so that's about 600 quid each, which isn't too bad for accommodation and food. Obviously we've paid for our fuel separately, and our ferry we'd already paid for, and our first couple of nights accommodation we'd already paid for, but That's the big vast majority of it. So it's not too bad. Yeah, last night John Nelson's cost us a bottle of whiskey and a box of chocolates. So yeah, if we do this again, we just need to book the ferry a lot earlier. When I looked at it a year or two ago, looked at doing this sort of trip, we could have booked the ferry and got about 2 or 3 nights accommodation for, I can't remember what it was, but it was a lot less than £500 for the ferry and 3 nights accommodation, which was really good value. So I think if we book it early enough in advance, they're the sort of deals you can get. Yeah, next year's trip has to try and beat this one. We have spoken about going to the Dolomites in Italy, which would be really nice. Maybe Austria and Italy, northern Italy, that sort of area. The other place that would be really nice to go to would be the Picos. So maybe we could get the ferry down to Santander, and then get off the ferry and turn right and do northern Spain down there in the Picos. That looks really beautiful. But we'll have the time to sort that out. This is another beautiful little French village. I love these French towns with big open squares and open areas in the centre of town, and little patisseries like that one there on the left. That is Pegasus Bridge, where there's been a lot of fighting. What's the orange light mean? This is where the 6th Airborne Division landed. They had landed 6 gliders, crash landed all around this area, and their job was to take that bridge there behind me, which is now known as Pegasus Bridge, to take that bridge and wait for reinforcements to come from other parachute regiments and commandos, secure the area, and obviously a place to cross the Caen Canal and push on further into France. So another further news and bike news. We stopped back there for a little while, and then when I went to go and start my bike again, the battery was almost flat again. The new battery I put in this morning. So fully charged, yeah, brand new fully charged battery this morning. So that would suggest I've got a charging problem. So we're not far from the port now. We're a couple of hours before we actually get onto the boat, probably, at least. I can't leave the engine running for that time, so we'll just have to jump start it again, or with jump leads, and hopefully we'll be able to start it. And then once I get it onto the boat, I'll sort of breathe a bit of a sigh of relief then, I think. And then if we can even just get it off the boat in Portsmouth, at least then I've got more options of what I can do. Right, so we're at the port now. Yeah, the bike wouldn't start again, so we got to the port and I left it ticking over when we were in the queue, but then it died. So after getting advice from a few other biker guys that were there, I've with the jump leads connected up to batteries, connected my battery up to Ben's battery with the jump leads, started up Ben's bike and to try so his alternator would put some charge into my battery, which is what it did. We've spoken to some people here at the port and they said I can get my bike on first, even if it means pushing it on. Now hopefully I might be able to get it, they might be able to charge it up for me overnight. I don't know if they would not, maybe because it might be a fire risk, I don't know. But if not, they'll just push it off in the morning and then hopefully I'll get enough juice in it and maybe find another dealer in the morning and buy another battery, which might just get me home, because I don't have enough, the battery isn't charging enough to keep going. So I don't know, I just have to wait and see. At least if I get in the ferry anyway and get to England, it'll make things a lot easier from there. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what I can do. Right, so another update. I've got the bike started, got it onto the ferry. Not sure what I'm going to do in the morning yet. Someone's told me if the alternator is on the way out, or the alternator is knackered, if I can get it started in the morning, as long as I keep my revs up quite high, it should keep enough juice in the battery to keep me running. I've disconnected the two headlamps, so that won't be draining the battery, and yeah, well hopefully that will be enough. Yes, I might need to get a jump start in the morning, but it's going to be scary, hairy stuff riding home. Not really sure how that's going to pan out, but we'll see in the morning. Alright, so we've had a good night in the ferry, good night's sleep, had a drink last night before we went to bed, good night's sleep, and come down this morning, cacking myself, wondering if the bike's going to start or not. And it has started. So now hopefully it will behave itself the way home. I'm keeping the revs up like someone's advised me to, just to keep the battery charging. And I've my headlamp bulbs have been disconnected. Yeah, so with the headlamp bulbs being disconnected, someone said to me that the alternator is probably just barely putting enough current through, but the headlamps had probably, when I was sitting there idling yesterday in the queue to get on, the headlamps were just drawing all the current that it was creating, and the battery just got to such a low point that the engine just died. So I've been advised. Yeah, so I've been advised now, just keep the revs up all the way. So let's hope that does the trick. That was the most unpleasant couple of hours I've had on a bike for a long time this morning. Yeah, the bike started okay this morning. I know we got off the ferry. like I said, I disconnected the headlamps, but it was still a little bit dark when we got out onto the motorway, which was a little bit silly, a little bit careless, I know, but so I'd only one little side light on. Pushing through a lot of traffic, very, very busy motorway and busy A34. Ben had to be home because he had a meeting at 9:30, I think it was, maybe 10 o'clock or something, so we needed to crack on. We couldn't really hang about. And then there was a couple of accidents on the A34, so we had to filter through lots of traffic, and it was freezing cold. I really underestimated how cold it was. So my hands were really cold, my neck was starting to get sore because it was so cold, and the angle I'm at. But got through okay. My range when we left, my fuel range when we left the ferry was 115 miles, and it is about 115 miles from Portsmouth to Banbury or thereabouts. So that was a little bit worrying as well, because I didn't want to stop, because if I stopped for fuel, I'd have to turn off the ignition to open the petrol cap to put fuel in, and then of course the worry is it going to start again? But anyway, as we went on, as we started motorway riding anyway, then the fuel range went up, and as it happened, I've got home here now with 20 miles to spare. So that worked out okay in the end. And bike starts up again now, easy, no problem again. I think just that long run with no lights on and nothing else draining the battery. There's a little bit of juice left in the battery, but I'm going to have to do a little bit of research and probably get a new alternator. But it's got me home, and we've had a fabulous trip. And if I was going to break down anywhere, I broke down in the best place where I could. We were just on our way to John and Alison's towards the end of the trip, and there was a couple of bike shops nearby, and everything worked out well in the end. So we had a brilliant trip. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and take care. Bye bye.